Hello everyone, welcome back to AeroHub and welcome to the series of lectures in aerospace structures. In the previous lecture we discussed about the effective sheet width, and in this lecture we will go into see one of the important design of airframe design, that is spar design. And you are aware that in the case of a wing, one of the important part of a wing is ribs as well as spar as well as stiffness. Okay, so in this lecture we will see in detail about the spar design. You can see that mostly the spars will be acting like a strong beam that can carry bending load as well as torsional load or shear load. Okay, and most of the spar section is in the shape of an I section, and you can see here this is a build up I section here, and this is the top flange and this is the bottom flange and this is the web of the section, and the flanges will be carrying the bending stress, that is a combination of compressive and tensile stress, and the web will be carrying the shear load. You can see here the distribution of bending stress as well as shear stress of a standard I section, and this one is the neutral axis, and in the neutral axis the value of bending stress is 0. From neutral axis to the top fiber and bottom fiber the bending stress is increasing, and in the case of shear stress, neutral axis will be having the maximum amount of shear stress and the value of shear stress is decreasing from the neutral axis to the top fiber and bottom fiber. Okay, this is reverse in the case of bending stress. Now in this lecture we will find out the value of moment as well as shear force acting on front spar as well as rear spar. You are aware that most of the aircraft wing will be having two spars are available, most of the aircraft wing, and we will be finding out the value of bending moment as well as the shear force acting on the front spar as well as the rear spar. You can see in this figure we have a section of the wing, and let this section be at the root. Okay, this section be at the root of the wing. Okay, and HF is nothing but height of the front spar, and HR is the height of the rear spar. Okay, now we will assume that, or let us assume capital V and capital M be the net shear force and bending moment at the root. We are analyzing the root airfoil section, and you are aware that the maximum bending moment and maximum shear force will be acting at the root airfoil. Okay, that's why I am analyzing the root airfoil section. Okay, now this HF and HR are the height as well as the height of front spar and height of rear spar. We'll write MF and MR, VF and VR are the bending moment and shear force acting on front spar and rear spar. Okay, so I will write MF plus MR, that is nothing but the summation of moment acting on front spar and rear spar will be equal to the total moment capital M, and VF, that is a shear force acting on the front spar, plus VR is equal to capital V, the summation of shear force. So I can write this as equation number 1.A, and I'll put this as equation number 1.B. Now I will write the bending moment is proportional to the height of the spar. Okay, I put as equation number 3, and I can write MF is proportional to this proportional sign. The height of this bar is HF, height square. Okay, the bending moment is proportional to the height square of height of this bar. Okay, and the bending moment of the front spar is proportional to the square of height of the front spar. So I can write this one as MF is equal to a constant. I'll write alpha into HF square. Okay, I put as equation number I put this equation as 2, not 3. Equation number 3A. Similarly, the moment acting on rear spar is equal to alpha into HR square. Equation 3B. Okay, moment acting on the, from equation 1A I can write M is equal to MF plus MR, where M is the total moment acting on the root, MF is the moment acting on the front spar, MR is the moment acting on the rear spar. So I'll substitute equation 3A and 3B. So I'll write M is equal to alpha is common, that will be HF square plus HR square. Okay, so from this equation I can get the value of alpha. So alpha will be equal to M divided by HF square plus HR square. This is the value of alpha. Equation number 4. Now MF is equal to alpha into HF square. So I'll substitute equation 4 in equation 3A, 3B. So I can write MF is equal to M into HF square divided by HF square divided by HR square. This is M by HF square by HR square is nothing but the value of alpha. Put as equation number 5, and MR is equal to M into HR square divided by HF square plus HR square. Equation number 6. Okay, so we got the value of moment acting on the spar. Similarly, the shear force is proportional to the height h. Okay, that means the shear force acting on the front spar is proportional to the height HF, and shear force proportional to acting on rear spar is proportional to the height HR. Okay, so I can write VF will be equal to a constant, that is beta, into HF, equation number 7A, and VR is equal to beta into height HR, that is equation number 7B. Okay, now we have the equation 1B. From equation 1B, V is equal to VF plus VR. So I can write V will be equal to, VF is nothing but beta into HF. I can take beta constant outside, so it will be beta into HF plus HR. So from this I can get the value of beta. So beta will be equal to V by HF plus HR. This is equation number 8. Now I will substitute the value of 8 in 7a and 7b. So I will be getting the value of VF. So that is 8 in 7a comma 7b. So VF will be equal to V into HF divided by HF plus HR, equation number 9, and VR will be equal to V into HR divided by HF plus HR. Okay, this is the method to find out the value of shear force as well as bending moment for the front spar and the rear spar. Okay, so this is one of the important concept while designing a spar. Hope you understand. Thank you for listening this lecture. Take care.